Hello and welcome to another update video about Cardano. Cardano is doing something very interesting. So first of all, on the Cardano chart itself, ADA USD, we can see still this ascending broadening wedge. Talked about that in the last video. It's a bit of a bearish pattern. It also forms a little bit of a cup and handle, not cup and handle, head and shoulders, yeah. So we have a neckline here, this ascending trend line. If you're losing that, then I think you're gonna drop. And the first target for such a drop would be the beginning of that wedge. That would be here, the $1.07 level. And however, I also think it's quite likely that we could retest the $1 level. Yeah, and then what we're gonna do, we could form here an inverse head and shoulders, which is a larger reversal pattern. Yeah, where the price could then find resistance here again at 126, and that would be the neckline of that inverse head and shoulders. Bit of an ugly one, yeah, and then break out to the upside. So we've got a few reversal patterns here, a few bullish reversal patterns. We talked about that. Got your inverse head and shoulders here. We've got this descending wedge, which is exactly the same or very similar to the descending wedge that we saw back in June, July. And after that, we moved to new all-time highs. Here you can see here quite a bit of a comparison to how the price broke out back in July, which looks similar to a degree, but then where we found resistance here today is just below that 126 line. Back then, we just broke through it in one big move. The difference here today is that we're already above the 50-day moving average, but back then, we also were above the 200-day moving average. So for me, this is the key level, or $1.50, maybe a little bit lower, for that 200-day moving average to reach and to break it actually. And then also here the next fib level at 155. And also, and these are all important levels here, this cluster of resistance levels, the 200-day moving average, that fib level, and most importantly actually as well, that 163 level that is important for the structure of the chart, that previous wave 4. If you move above that, I think it's getting very likely that we have seen the low already. Until then, it's not very clear. We have to be honest about that. Till then, it's not very clear. But there are a few interesting things happening here on the chart. Now, that ascending broadening wedge is a little bit bearish. Could indicate that we're going to drop down once more and retest here the inverse, do the inverse head and shoulders. So that's pretty much just about the ADA USD chart. Not many new things here happening on the chart, but if you break below that level here today around 116, I think we're going to lose here this broadening ascending wedge with a first support at $1.08, because we don't see the volume at the moment, and we lack a bit of strength, and we cannot really make higher highs. Going higher, in my opinion, will be possible if we break above 120. You can see how we had rejection here, yeah, so and here a few times now, and this 120 level is an important level above us, yeah. First resistance $1.20. But what I really wanted to show you is that ADA BTC chart. We took a look at that yesterday and identified here that we could be forming here, potentially you can call it like that, a cup and handle. So again also a reversal pattern. If you zoom out, you can actually see how much the ADA dropped compared to BTC. There was an attempted breakout here to the upside, but it failed at the 200-day moving average. And now we're forming again one more of these cup shapes, and you can see the tension building up in the chart. So this is the daily, where you form this cup shape, potentially handle here, and then you break above that level here, above 2,600 roughly. But what is so important, you can also call that a bullish flag, is this one here. So you have you could call it your your flagpole. And then, I go to the 4-hour chart for a little bit more detail. You can just see the tension if you look at the chart, and usually that will then be released in a big move. So you've got your pennant, your bullish pennant. And again, there are a few ways of drawing this, but if I draw it like that, yeah, and I just try to find as many touch points as possible, we can see that the price has broken out. And that is big news. That also indicates why ADA is currently doing quite well compared to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin dropped a little bit, while ADA is actually holding a little bit better. So we now, I think after that breakout, ideally what I want to see is on the 4-hour chart, We closed already above it. Ideally a retest of the former support. And then we need to move above this level here, 2,600. We had rejection here, here. So we had a few rejection points here. That would be the next level. And then I think we can start to go. I think with the last rejection point here, sort of in this area. So, oops, certainly, no, I didn't want to do that. Certainly very interesting, and it looks like we're currently breaking out, but bear in mind, we had a few fake outs here before as well. But it's the first time that the 4-hour candle, I think, closed above it here. So I can also adjust this a little bit higher to make sure I'm capturing all the wicks, yeah. But even then, it looks a bit like that we broke out already. And if I do it like that, I'm not capturing all the touch points. So I probably have to do it like that. And it's looking like that in the current 4-hour candle, we're really breaking out. So that would be big, because that means that ADA is going to outperform Bitcoin from here. And at least it's a good indication for that. So keep a close eye on that. That's exciting. Good start to the week for ADA. I'm not saying it's going to hold. We need to see how the 4-hour candle closes now. If I draw the pattern like that, and then it could be exciting. So take a look at the ADA chart and also ADA BTC. Yeah, and that's my view here on Cardano at the moment. Can't really tell you anything else about Cardano at the moment that would be new compared to the previous video. But this here is an interesting factor that we need to keep an eye on. Alright, so hopefully you liked the update about Cardano. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.